Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of In the Zone, episode 173. This is Anthony Pagniello, Giancarlo Aulino, Chris Martelli. We're going to kick it off in the NBA. Playoffs are around the corner. We got the play-in already underway. We got the shit going this weekend already. So, yeah, Brooklyn Nets, they beat the Cavs on opening night. I don't think anyone was surprised there. We'll get into that. And fucking Pat Bev and the Timberwolves winning the finals over there. Buddy pretending like he's D-Wade jumping up on the bench celebrating for the last play-in in history. You got to create moments. I love it. And, yeah, Atlanta absolutely fucking blowing out Charlotte over there. And New Orleans getting one up on the Spurs. So which one are we diving into first, boys? Chris, Brooklyn beating the Cavs. What do we got?
It was no surprise here. The Cavs have just sunk terribly in the standings.
Big
if
time.
I don't know if Jared Allen is as good as he is. He was an all-star, but without Jared Allen, oh my God, the Cavs are not that good, man. Like Garland, I thought he would do a little bit better in this game. He did get a lot of shots. I think he shot like 26 attempts and he got like 28 points, something like that. Evan Mobley actually for his first play-in / playoff game, he didn't look too bad. He looked a little bit confident, but he had to be. The only guy I'm kind of upset here that he hasn't been getting, the results is Kevin Love. The guy the last 2 months has been balling like crazy. He's had that playoff success before. It's just unfortunate that he just couldn't. The Cavs could not stay healthy, and they couldn't really get over that hump. I know they still have a shot here, but I was saying before the pot went up, I don't see them beating Atlanta at all. I think Atlanta's a better team. I think they got all the momentum now after a 30-point blowout, which we'll get into. But yeah, business as usual here. Kevin Durant early in the game was facilitating, not really shooting, which was hilarious. Got a lot of guys upset. But Kyrie Irving, this guy, I don't know. There's some games he'll shoot 9 of 30, and there's other games he'll shoot 13 of 14 in the first half. That was one of these games where he looked like God out there. He wasn't missing any shots, getting double cover, going in the paint, still making those insane layup packages. Yeah, Kyrie had his way with Cleveland's D, and they ran away with it.
Yeah, pretty much nailed it there. I wasn't surprised at all here. Like the Cavs it's a free fall down the standings. They were in a playoff spot for the longest time, and then all of a sudden the Raptors started coming up and took their spot. So, like, I don't know. I think internally they should just be looking at the draft right now. Look at some players that they want to keep for next year, and then look at some of the other guys that maybe they'll look at moving out. Like, see some free agents that they envision plotting in there, but I think they should just be looking towards a draft right now. Their management get through this next game against Atlanta tomorrow night and hope for next year that you're all healthy and back in the playoffs.
It's fucking crazy how that happened. They drop all the way to the play-in and they have to play fucking KD and Kyrie in the Nets. And then they put up a fight, but yeah, that happens obviously. But yeah, going forward for them, I think they're in the same situation as the Raptors. They're playing with house money. They got a good young team going forward, but for this year, it's so unfortunate that happened to them. So now they have to fucking win.
I'll ask this question too, because they didn't have Sexton all year. I don't know what he's going to be like when he comes back. Garland is apparently rumored to get the max deal, as he kind of should. He had a huge year this year, even last year. I'll start with you, Aulino. They're playing with house money. Mobley is up in a year after next year. If you give Garland that max deal, what do you expect guys like Jared Allen and even do you think they have a potential shot at trading Sexton? Because right now he's looking like he's in the same situation as an Oladipo, where he's been injured for quite a bit. You don't really know what his trade value is moving forward, but yeah, that's the question I have, man. What do you think is going to happen with Cleveland if they give Garland that monster extension?
No, it's going to be tough because Garland, he's going to obviously command that salary, but you're looking at Jared Allen, you probably would want to keep him. He's a good big to have, but I think it's still too early. I know the injury troubles are there, but I would wait another year until making a big trade because like when everyone was healthy, this team was in the mix there. So it's like they're too far off. They're not like a team like Charlotte was without LaMelo, where they're out of the playoffs, guaranteed. You can put that every year, but I think right now, like Cleveland's in a weird spot where when everyone's healthy, they're in that top 5-6 range, and I think they'll just wait a year. But I think he could probably be one that they're looking at trading if the right move comes up.
Yeah, I'm with Aulino. I like Sexton a lot. I mean, Garland pretty much broke out this year. Everyone, like both really good young players. Everyone was going back and forth on them for a while, but I think this was the year everyone's like, "Oh, Garland kind of took over." But I would like to see them hold on to Sexton and have him in this lineup with Allen and Mobley and see if they can make it work financially going forward. Going to be a little tough, but yeah, they're still so young. Like he's still so young, and there's still so much potential with him there. So yeah, I wouldn't do it just yet, man.
I guess at the end of the day, when you look at the end of the tunnel for Cleveland, I think it's looking like who would you rather have, Colin Sexton or Karis LeVert in the long run? And I think that's a tough one. Those two guys, I know they're both different positions. LeVert is a little bit older. I think he's a little bit more established in the league, but either or, I think losing one of them it would hurt in the long run. But I did have to ask that question. But we got to go on to the other playing game, the other one in the first night. The Clippers and the Timberwolves. Now, Paul George, a lot of people were expecting a monster performance from him, and he kind of got it in the second half. The first half, he was looking like Pandemic P again, and it just looked like he was in his head again. And I feel like that's what happens with Paul George. Guys like Reggie Jackson, too, early on, were looking pretty good, and then they kind of hit a wall in the third quarter. And I need to give all the credit here to a guy like D'Angelo Russell. He gets lost in the shuffle quite a bit. Karl Anthony Towns, he had a bad game, boys. He fouled out. He wasn't hitting his shots. It just looked like nothing was going for him. He looks down the bench. D'Lo gets up, taps him on the shoulder, says, "I got this, buddy." And he dropped a hell of a game. I think he dropped 26 points. Anthony Edwards, 30 points. Not surprised there. He's that good. But I'll start with you, Pagniello. What did you think on the overall game? And you think the better team won here?
Yeah, I think so. And but yeah, this was an interesting matchup. I mean, I thought the Timberwolves would win, but Paul George coming back, I thought he was pretty solid. I didn't know what to expect with him. Not so much Pandemic P, but because he has missed pretty much a lot of the year. But I didn't think they would have an answer for Towns, and then Towns having the game that he did have was super unfortunate. And then seeing the Timberwolves fucking come from behind and get that win, good character win for the Timberwolves. We got to give Pat Bev credit there. Edwards having a 30-point game, getting them in. D'Lo solid. Pat Bev, oh man, what a team player, jumping up on the fucking bench. I fucking love it. I love the energy. They're in the playoffs for I'm gonna get the numbers wrong, but what like the second time in the last how many years, boys? It's so bad over there.
The first time since 2004, man.
Yeah, so fucking KG's fucking MVP year probably. So, yeah, I'm happy for them. Good for them. It's a good win.
Yeah, the Clippers. I don't know why Norm Powell wasn't playing as much. That's a guy who should be starting, and it felt like they were forcing a lot of shots. Like Paul George forcing shots. Like there was so many times where he could have just laid the ball off. I know it's like a must-win game, but I don't think they managed that well. His shot selection, I think that probably is going to make it worse because now he's going to be thinking about all these misses. So I think Norm Powell should have been playing a lot more, and when he was playing, he was really effective for them. So I think that was a bad call there by Ty Lue, getting rid of Norm Powell, and just didn't manage his minutes well, I thought. So that kind of took him out of the game.
Yeah, dude, honestly, you pulled it. Aulino, you called that it. You put down some money on Norm Powell to have a good game, and he I think he started the game 5 of 7, like 3 of 4 from 3, and then all of a sudden they take him out of the game, and it's like, well, why are you keeping Batum on for this long? I know he's a great he could. I remember, I think it was last year or this year, he had like a 40-point triple-double when everyone was out. Even Covington had a game where he dropped like 11 threes, but that's not going to happen in the playoffs. You need that offense, especially when George is going to go a little bit cold. And like you mentioned, Pagniello, he missed a chunk of the year. So again, he's still getting his feet wet. He's kicking his tires there. He's trying to get that chemistry, that stamina back. And yeah, you can't be taking off a guy like Norman Powell, who is straight offense. He's the type of guy where he keeps his head down and he just goes to work. And if you take a guy like that out of the game, we saw it. Pat Beverly, he's a guy that usually likes to snatch momentum. He did that, and they got a big win there. And he was obviously the talk of the town after the game.
What do we got next? This Charlotte-Atlanta game. So basically, Aulino. What are our thoughts on the Hornets? How disappointed are we?
Man, LaMelo's such a great player, and like they have the pieces around him. Like I like Rozier, like what he brings, but he wasn't having a great game. I think Gordon Hayward there, like at some point, like come on. If you're the owner, like Michael Jordan, all that money, it's in IR right now that you could have spread around, all the free agents you could have got, like role players to come in, defensive role players, and with that $30 million, you could have had like a solid team around LaMelo, and that's kind of like handcuffing them a little bit because now he's forced to play with what he has. Gordon Hayward's a good player when he's healthy, but hasn't been really healthy the last like 5 years, ever since that year in Boston where he got that bad injury. So I think it's time now. They got to find a way to cut their losses with him and move on and hopefully get a player there to surround LaMelo with so they can succeed finally.
Yo, boys, as good as Charlotte's been down the stretch, they don't have a freaking identity. That's their biggest problem. I mean, LaMelo Ball could drop 21, 8, and 8. He can even drop 30 with 7 and 8. But at the end of the day, if you don't have an identity, you don't have a structure, you don't have the plays that you run properly, it's not going to work out. And a perfect example, man, honestly, I'm going to start at the draft last year. They drafted James Bouknight. Why? Why do you draft a guard? You have LaMelo Ball. You have Terry Rozier. You don't necessarily need that. You need a center. They didn't go and do that. PJ Washington, I was saying before the pod, if you're going to be a center and you're going to shoot the three, make sure there's a guy in the paint waiting. There were a lot of times in this game where the shot selection was just baffling. Even LaMelo Ball a couple times. I know they had a couple switches. They had Capella on LaMelo a couple times. You got to take advantage of that, but he was doing the flashy step back threes, wasn't connecting. And the fact that they won by 30 points and Trae Young was getting double teamed every time he passed half court, it just shows, dude, that Atlanta has that scoring depth. We saw Kevin Huerter drop over 10. Gallinari was hot. Bogdanovich, he's an outstanding bench player. He was second this year in bench points behind Tyler Hero. Like this team, dude, I think they're a better team than what they look at in the standings. If you look at where they finished, I think they could be a little better than that. And yeah, they just exposed Charlotte's lack of identity in this one. Kelly Oubre not getting a point. Montrez wasn't really effective, which is unfortunate. But the guy that I feel bad for, Aulino, in this scenario is Isaiah Thomas, man. Feel bad for that guy.
Yeah, we were I guess we were saying before about LaMelo. He's kind of got to be Luka over there, right? Like, I feel like Charlotte's going to be in the same spot for a little while. It's got to be LaMelo and then maybe a center because, yeah, that's a big hole over there. But, yeah, Chris, you brought up right away about Atlanta, how they were just going to roll over the Cavs in this final game. Is that just solely based on Trae Young? Is he going to lead the way over there?
Again, they don't have their best defender in Jared Allen. Garland is not the best defensive point guard. And I think if you have a guy like LeVert, like let's say they have LeVert guard Trae Young all game, I think even there's a mismatch because he could find the open shots. That's another thing that Garland can do that, but he's feeding it to guys like, I don't know, like LeVert, Osman, and like those type of guys. Whereas Trae Young, I feel like the scores are a little bit more trusted in guys like Huerter, Bogdanovich, Gallinari, even like, dude, I think they're getting John Collins back for that game. So that right there is a flat out problem for a guy like a Mobley. And like, here's another thing, Pagniello. Who's guarding Capella if Allen is not on the floor?
That's a very good question.
Kevin Love.
Mobley, he's getting killed because we saw last night Capella absolutely dismantled. What did he drop, Aulino? It was like 22 and 17 last night. He just absolutely ate Charlotte. And Plumlee is, I think, a pretty I won't say he's a good offensively. He's not a good offensive player, but in terms of defensively, he's not too bad. So I think Capella, dude, he's gonna eat tomorrow night.
There it is. And so we got the final playing game here for that night. The Pelicans getting one up on the Spurs. Aulino, your boy JV, and the Pelicans. What do we think about the Pels so far in this little play-in?
Yeah, I thought credit to San Antonio. They made it interesting at some points where, Popovich found his guys. He understood where he was, and some of the plays worked there. Murray got foul trouble early on, so wasn't able to be that effective. But I think the Pelicans are too good. They got a good one there with CJ McCollum, that trade where he comes in. They sacrifice some depth, but at least they got a 3-point shooter that they can count on. And Zion, the videos there of him doing some dunks before the game. Like, what the fuck is this guy doing? Like, get on the court at that point. Like, him just standing there. If he can get one dunk a game, maybe do a layup, I'll play him 5 minutes if I'm the coach. So if they get Zion back for the playoffs, if they can get past the Clippers, I would not be counting out the Pelicans from pulling off an upset against Phoenix.
Yeah, kind of. They're very similar to Atlanta, whereas they're a lot better, I think, as a team than they are in the standings. They had a really rough start to the year, and then we saw they traded Harden, Alexander Walker, and then you just think they're tanking, and then bam, they get CJ McCollum. It's like, oh, all right, we'll see how that fits. And last night was, if there was any indication, he fits like a glove in New Orleans. He took over the game last night. I just thought that even Herbert Jones is one of those guys. He's a glue guy, and Doris Burke was saying last night during the game, I don't know if you guys heard it, she had him as arguably a first All-NBA defensive team in his rookie year. So if he's going to be this good defensively, and they keep a guy like Zion and they keep a guy like CJ McCollum, and JV just continues to pluck away, I think this team is a lot better than a 9th seeded team. I see the Pelicans giving. Again, like I said with Atlanta, I don't know if the Clippers could do it, man. I don't know if they could beat the Pelicans. I don't know who can guard CJ McCollum on a per 36-minute basis on that team. Is it Reggie Jackson? Is it, Norman Powell? I don't know. I don't think I'm confident in either of those guys. And then, like you said, Aulino, if Zion's dunking, why the hell is he not on the floor playing? He's already missed the whole year. Last year he played, 50 games. The year before that, barely played. So it's going to that point where if CJ's going to ball out this much, I said it last night in the chat, maybe it's best you trade him, because CJ has been thriving. He's averaging career numbers across the board, 28 and 6 assists. He's just been a monster. I guess Pagniello, what do you think with CJ? Do you think he can keep it up, or do you think it's going to dip? Because even Brandon Ingram, dude, solid ball player.
Yeah, you were kind of cutting out there. I didn't get that first part.
Do you think CJ's gonna? Do you think he's gonna continue with this pace? Because he's putting up career numbers everywhere across the board. If Zion comes back,
oh man, CJ's a bucket. I love CJ McCollum. He's been doing it for years. He's just kind of been in the shadow of Damian Lillard, but he averages 20 every year. He's always clutch in crunch time. We saw in that game alone. I think he can do it. I think everyone knows over there, Ingram's the guy for the future for the forwards. But CJ's the guy right now. This is his team. He's operating offensively. In terms of that game for the Clippers, I honestly don't see it happening. I see the Pelicans winning that game pretty easily.
Aulino, what do you think about that one?
Yeah, I think the Clippers are staying. Good thing it's home for them. I think they're staying home. I don't think they're going anywhere. So I got the Pelicans moving on there. Their team is just loaded offensively and defensively. They're a good two-way squad. Ingram, CJ, Devontae Graham. Whenever if he starts clicking, you got JV. If you get Zion back, you throw him in the paint. You move Ingram out a little bit. I think that's a scary team to play against right now.
Pagniello, do you think with how great they looked last night, do you see them, if they beat the Clippers, do you see them forcing Zion to play against Phoenix? Because I'm not going to lie, as great as Phoenix has been all year, if this team fully loaded can go, if Herbert Jones can play that lockdown D, Zion coming back, can you see this being a series? Because I can. I could see the Pelicans giving the Suns a hard time.
Oh, man. I think even without Zion, it would be a fun first-round matchup. But I don't know if the Pelicans would risk that, putting him in there, just because he sat the entire fucking year. So I just don't see them being like, okay, we're going to throw you in now, and we want you at 100% against the best team in the league. Go and kill Chris Paul and Devin Booker. Like, good chances are with a guy that big, you might be getting injured again. But seeing him dunk, I don't know about you guys, it frustrated the fuck out of me.
Yeah. That we were just questioning why the fuck you're doing that. Why are you doing that openly where social media is going to roast the shit out of you? Like you're setting yourself up for failure there and for criticism. So even the whole email thing, yeah, I don't know if you guys remember the Reddick story, how he wasn't a part of the pamphlet and then he didn't like properly, introduce himself to CJ. Like, come on, man. Like, what are you doing there?
Oh, my.
Seemed to be having a good time on the bench, so in the street clothes, nice outfit. I think he needs to go trade it in for the uniform when it's time to the playoffs. Going to Phoenix in their arena, pull off the jersey, and just fucking go to town. Start bullying guys in the paint.
There you go.
Yeah, because dude, I'm not gonna lie. If Zion plays, I don't know. I don't see that going under 6 games for sure. Because CJ, dude, as funny as this may sound to a lot of people out there, Booker's been probably a top 10 MVP type of guy this year. CJ, the way he's playing right now, I think he can go toe to toe with Booker. That's not far fetched. Pagniello, you said it. He's been averaging 20 the last 8 years. Maybe not 8 years, but the last 6 seasons at least he's been averaging 20. I love CJ McCollum. I think he can get you out of any negative situation. Let's say they're down 7 going into the fourth. You can get buckets from him. You pass it to him in the fourth. Even if he's chucking up 12 field goal attempts in the fourth quarter, he'll probably make about 7 of those. So I love CJ. Brandon Ingram right now is a sneaky offensive option because he's not producing at the clip we saw the last 2 years because of CJ, but he'll have that game where he'll drop like 35 and everyone will say, oh shit, yeah, they have Brandon Ingram on this team too. So I don't know. For me, the Pelicans and the Hawks are going to be the 2 teams moving on for sure.
I love it. So I guess that's it for all the play-in games. Should we move on to the playoffs now?
Let's go.
So I guess we'll start with the teams that we already covered in the play-in. So we'll start right back with the fucking Brooklyn Nets. They're taking on the Celtics. Chris, start that one off.
You know how I feel about this series. I do love Brooklyn. I think they're not a play-in team 100%. They just got unlucky with injuries, but the way that Boston's played since after the All-Star break, they've been arguably the best team in the league. And that may sound like a hot take, but if you look at the statistics, they back that shit up. Marcus Smart right now is looking like a defensive player of the year candidate, and I think he might even win it. He's up for the nomination.
Oh, yeah.
Al Horford, we used to make fun of his contract in Philly. He's rejuvenated now. Robert Williams, this is the only problem. I don't know if he's playing. I know he's injured. The time Lord over there, I don't know if he's going to play, but everything has been clicking there since February, and I don't see it changing here. Jaylen Brown is a baller. Jason Tatum, like, say what you want about KD and Kyrie. Tatum is at that level. He's a superstar. He's not even 25 yet. The experience obviously favors in Brooklyn, even with the vets they have with Aldridge and Griffin and all those type of guys. But I see Boston. I think they're the better team here. I got Boston winning this one in 6 games. I don't see Kyrie handling the booze fairly well.
Oh, here's one of my upsets here. I'm going to go Brooklyn eliminating Boston. I think Brooklyn is kind of downplaying it, but I think Ben Simmons is going to play. And when it starts getting a little bit to him, Ben Simmons can come in, and he's in a situation here in Brooklyn where he doesn't have to shoot, he doesn't have to score, just play defense and distribute the ball. So I think that plays to his strength. He's going to find KD. He's going to find Seth Curry draining threes, and I think Brooklyn is going to be a little comfortable once Ben Simmons is in the lineup, because I think that's going to happen. Kind of been teasing it a little bit on his social media, even though they were saying, "Oh yeah, they doubt he plays," but I think they're just warming him up to the idea, and he'll probably be suiting up either game 1 or game 2.
All right, I'll say about this series, if it goes 7 games, I'll take Brooklyn for sure. I would just have more faith in that situation and guys like Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. As much as I love the way the Celtics are set up, because Chris, I probably agree with you. Like, their team they're so deep and they could throw more weapons at you defensively. Marcus Smart has been that guy that's this year. He's probably my defensive player of the year. And yeah, like, Tatum's a superstar and Brown is fucking amazing. So it's not like there's a lack of star power over there. They're set from top to bottom. Daniel Tice lining right back into that lineup. Yeah, like if it goes 7 games though, like I really do want to take Brooklyn. This is a great first round series.
Yeah, we're kind of in for a treat, aren't we? Even with the dramatics there, with Ben Simmons, I completely forgot about that. I'm not even gonna lie to you guys. If he does play, obviously he is a difference maker. But dude, I don't know what it is. I feel like they're gonna guard KD like perfectly. I just have this feeling that they have, like you just mentioned, they have so many defensive weapons. If they really wanted to, and I know this sounds hilarious, but he could probably get it done. We saw it last year and the year before. Like, would it make? I think Marcus Smart can guard KD, and I think if he gets a couple stops on KD, that can get in KD's head. And Kyrie is another player where if you have a guy like Jaylen Brown on Kyrie Irving, which is a mismatch right there, if he can get, stay composed, if he could stay, what's the word there? If he could stay disciplined, Jaylen Brown, not try and force body contact, because you do know that Kyrie and KD are going to get their fouls. Let's be real here. They're going to get their calls. If Jaylen Brown can, stay the distance but still put his hands up and guard him properly, and even a guy like Marcus Smart, I think Boston can handle it here. And we forgot about it, guys. Peyton Pritchard can shoot arguably just as good as Seth Curry. Can he not? I feel like this guy is just. There's games I see him come on, and he's like the Joe Harris of Boston. Like, can you guys agree with me on that? He comes on and he can shoot 3 threes in a matter of 2 minutes, and all of a sudden you have a game. I don't know. I love that kid. I think he could ball out too. They got Daniel Theis. They got a couple other big time guys. Like, Grant Williams is getting better every single year I see him. So this team, you know what? It's a Boston team. I don't like saying that Boston teams are good, but damn it, man, with Tatum and Brown going the way they are and Smart too, I'm still taking Celtics, man, honestly.
So you're going Celtics 7 then?
I'll say Celtics. If Simmons does not play, I'll say 6. But if he plays, I'll still say 7.
Low key, don't want to see Simmons in the lineup. Not that I don't love him, because I want to see him back on the court, but like, again, like, you literally missed the entire fucking year, and you're gonna play the fucking first game back in the playoffs. I don't know. That's a little.
Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah, that's a different story. But yes, we'll go to the next series. We'll go to the 1-8 seed, which isn't exactly confirmed yet. We're assuming it's going to be Atlanta, Could be Cleveland, but either way, I think the Miami Heat are going to be taking this one.
Aulino, kick it, buddy.
If John Collins is back, I think it's going to be a tougher matchup than people are giving like credit for. Like I think Miami obviously should be the favorite in that, but I think they're going to have their hands full. If they got to deal with Capella, Collins, Trey, like Bogdanovich, if I know he's streaky, but if he gets it going too, I think this could be a 6-game series too. So I think Miami wins, but they're going to be tested a lot in this, and they might expose themselves in this first matchup.
Pagniello, quick question. Do you know who they beat last year, Atlanta, to go to the conference finals?
Ooh, was it Philly?
Yeah, okay, it was Philly. Do you see Philly of last year be on the same level of Miami as this year? Or do you think Miami's better?
Miami this year better than Philly last year.
Because I don't know, dude. It looks like there could be another narrative in the works here. I don't know.
I mean, I don't know. I think the Heat are great. I probably have them. Yeah, I definitely have them in the first round. I don't have them as favorites, though. I think they could go far within the East. They might be able to go conference. I could see them losing in the second round. I guess we'll eventually get to that one, but I don't see them as threats. I don't know.
I agree with you. They're a first seed, but they're not necessarily. They're like Utah.
Oh, here we go.
But dude, I'm gonna say Heat in 7. I think they barely win this series if Atlanta's going with Collins and Capella. There's just way too much pressure on Bam Adebayo. If you have Collins and Capella there, they're gonna suffocate Bam. As athletic as he is, he's gonna need that help. And is PJ Tucker really enough there? I doubt that. So Jimmy Butler's probably gonna have to guard Collins, and that's gonna be a bitch for him. I don't know how he's gonna do with that. DeAndre Hunter, fuck, he's underrated too. I love Atlanta. I love the way they're set up. I still think the big X factor, you already know who I'm going to say, Kyle Lowry, the guy. When it comes to the postseason, he's a different monster. He can get you 12 points in the fourth out of nowhere. Like he could put up 3 shots the whole game, and then the fourth quarter comes and he gets the first 8 points. So with Kyle Lowry, he's going to have to do what he's always done, and that's head down, get your charging fouls, play that really smart basketball, and just take those threes when you know you can take them. Don't take stupid threes. Don't try and do a 3-point contest with Trey because you know you're going to lose. So if Kyle Lowry can stay committed there, not take as many shots, make good shots, I think they're in for a barn burner here. But I do think Miami is going to take it. And another guy too, I love, both of you guys know I love this guy's Tyler Hero, 6th man of the year. I think he could, him and Bogdanovich guys off the bench, that's going to be fun. That's why I really hope the Hawks beat the Cavaliers.
Also, guys, remember, Kyle Lowry in the playoffs is different than Kyle Lowry during the regular season. Miami's going to find that out. There's going to be some games in there where you might not notice him sometimes. I know people like to look over that with, Lowry's beloved and all, but history doesn't lie there, and there's going to be a game there where it's going to creep up on him. The Kyle Lowry that gets frustrated, foul trouble, misses 5 shots in a row. It's going to happen eventually. And Miami got to hope that it's not in Game 7 against a team like Atlanta.
He's stirring it the fuck up. I love it.
Pagniello, what do you have in this? Do you have it 7? Because I think this is 7.
I have Miami in a standard 6-game series. I think, yeah, like Atlanta's got a lot of weapons, and Trey's got the ability to put up a 50-point night. And if Collins is back the way they work together, Capella's a fucking problem too. So I think they can get a game or 2 in there, but at the same time, the way Miami's been going all year, with all the weapons they have, our boy Lowry, like we were just talking about, can't forget about Jimmy Buckets, Hero's fucking 6th man of the year right now, Duncan Robinson, they got a lot going on. Yeah, I say they take them in 6.
Damn. Well, we got to move on to the series that we want to see. The Philadelphia 76ers Taking on the Toronto Raptors. The Raptors were looking like, well, they were looking like a play-in team all year, and then the All-Star break comes, and the first 3 games, I remember texting you guys in the chat. They got blown out by Charlotte. They lost to Orlando and Detroit, and then all of a sudden, it's like Nick Nurse blew a gasket in the dressing room. They go out, they beat the Nuggets, they beat the Suns, and then they go on this immaculate, what was it, like 30-13 run to close the year. They were one of the hottest teams to end the season. Scotty Barnes, I don't care what anyone says. All the American media can back Mobley all they want. Scotty Barnes is the rookie of the year, no doubt about it. I'm going to start this one with you, Pagniello, because I know you are a huge, huge Raptor fan. Are you surprised with the way we finished the season? Because I didn't see us really being a 5 seed in this competitive East. And do you see us taking out Philly with the megastars and Harden and Embiid?
The way we finished the season, I did not expect it. I'm pretty sure it was us with the best record since the All-Star break, us and then like Memphis, which is fucking crazy to me because we have beaten like a lot of top teams in the league this year. So, but to that second question, yeah, solely based off what we're talking about before, like it's a fucking matchup problem for a lot of teams. This is worst case scenario for the 76ers. Yeah, just when you look at the Raptors, like a whole bunch of 6'8", 6'9" forwards, and you look at the way the 76ers play, it's really fucking slow. Throw it into Embiid. Raps are probably going to double them up. They're going to have to rely on a lot of other guys to get the job done. So I think this was the one series they didn't want, but at the same time, like both teams have what it takes to expose each other's weaknesses, if you know what I mean there. So I think this is a great series. It's going to go 7 games for sure, I think.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun one. I think Embiid, they're just going to take their chances with him, let him get his 30 points and 15 rebounds. But James Harden is another story. I think they're going to make his life a living hell. If OG's back in 100%, I think they're going to just go after him every single chance they get. Scotty Barnes will probably switch on him all the time, and they're going to put that free agency up on his head the whole time, because I don't know what the paperwork thing was with that at the trade when they made that trade. So if you can frustrate James Harden to a point where he's just going to check out like we've seen in the past, I think the Raptors could have something here and could pull off an upset in 7.
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to go with the Raptors in 7 too. And this is not me being biased. This is just me just looking back at the history behind it. Joel Embiid, Aulino, PTSD, Scotiabank Arena. Joel Embiid has that. He put up a freaking goose egg at Scotiabank Arena. I don't think any other team can fucking say that. So like you said, it's a fucking matchup nightmare for Philly. James Harden in clutch situations the last 3 months, you guys ready for this stat? He's shooting 21%. So you can see what you want about Joel Embiid's MVP season. To me, he's still not the MVP. It's Nikola Jokic, but you know, Joel can say what he wants about how the media hates him. It's, you know, it's just reality is he lost his case as the MVP down the stretch. Just Nikola just outplayed him, and that's life. But the guy that I'm actually interested in this series is the guy that is almost the most improved player, Tyrese Maxey. I think if they're going to really focus in on James Harden, you have Scotty Barnes or OG Anunoby on him. If you really want to make James Harden's life a living hell, you could even just switch a lot of pace options off him. So let's say Scotty Barnes, you like to say, Pagniello, that they play at a really slow pace. They do. I think if you put OG Anunoby on James Harden, I think that could maybe benefit into Harden's favor because OG's pace is not as quick as maybe a Gary Trent Jr. Gary Trent this year, guys, top 3 in steals. I think that's a nightmare for I know James Harden is a little bit more physical and a little bit bigger than Gary Trent, but if there's one thing that we've seen with Gary Trent is his versatility, his hard work, and his steal ability. So I think early on in the series, you can maybe try Gary Trent on James Harden and see what happens there. But I'm curious with Tyrese Maxey. I really don't know what to expect from him. He can put up 25. He could put up 7. There's really you really have no idea. But I want to ask a question here, guys. Other than Harden and Embiid, who do you think is that X factor? Maybe not even Tyrese Maxey. Do you see it being a Tobias Harris? Because as we've seen this season against the Raptors, he's been a no-show.
It's 100% Tobias Harris. And it was and it was 4 years ago too. But man, like, yeah, I expect the Raps to I don't know if one guy is going to be guarding one guy. I honestly think they're going to be double teaming Harden and Embiid, and it's going to be multiple guys. Like, we could have 6 guys, they're going to switch out on them all the time. A guy like Tobias Harris, I genuinely believe he cannot fucking touch Pascal Siakam. I think he's going to have a tough time in this series because like you said, every time they play the Raps, it's a big issue, and that guy's on a max fucking deal, and they need him to show up. Because if you get the same James Harden, it's not going to cut it. Embiid, I don't want to say it's the same situation, but was it last year they played Boston and he dropped fucking 40 and 22, but they lost every game?
Yeah.
Like
he doesn't have the depth, man. He doesn't have the help.
I think it could go that way if everything goes wrong for them, but Maxey's been fucking amazing this year. He could give us problems for sure. Danny Green is not the same player. I don't give a shit what anyone says. Like, he's basically there for experience. He can knock down a shot here or there. But he's not the same defender with the guys that we have. Another fucking matchup nightmare. So, and another thing, Thibault, we didn't bring up. He can't fucking play in Canada, who's probably their best defender on that team. So,
without a doubt, yeah.
There's a lot going for the Raps, and at the same time, like, there's not a whole lot to lose, so it's a good situation.
Yeah, I agree there. It's another one there.
Aulino, I was going to ask you, the way that Precious has played down the stretch.
Oh, beauty.
Like, do you see them really having an answer for Precious off the bench? Because I know Nick Nurse, I know it's the playoffs. He likes to play the starting 5 at 38 minutes. But if you can put Boucher and Precious out there for at least, I don't know, let's say 15 hard minutes, like, what do you see those two doing? Because time and time again, I've said it before, so Harris, he's a no-show. And there's a continuous narrative here. Precious Achiuwa, his three-point shot is tremendously improved, as we've seen. And Chris Boucher, I don't know what it is. Every time he faces Philly, I know defensively it's a different scenario, but offensively, dude, he can give you 10 relatively quickly. So what do you think Nick Nurse has to do with those two centers? Because he has to play them.
Yeah, I think he just needs to spread them out, make sure their minutes are like effective minutes where they're not just out there to kill time in the half and rest your starters. I think they need to be put in situations early on in the series where they feel like they're a big part of it. It's like that it keeps their confidence up, and I think eventually you're going to have to rely on them at some point, like depending on the matchup. Maybe Siakam is best suited covering Embiid in one game, and you got to move guys around for Harris. Like, let's say Harris maybe has a game where he gets hot. I think you're going to need somebody to go there and play like 20 to 25 minutes in one of the games. So I think they'll probably keep them in the first game, both of them early on. They'll play them. They won't keep them on the bench too long and just get them out there. So like that, in that situation, whenever it comes, they'll probably be able to handle it better.
What do you guys think they'll run? 7 consistently? 7 or 8 guys?
Yeah, I think so. Especially a first round.
Yeah, so I don't think much will change then going into the playoffs. I think they'll continue to run Boucher and Precious. We'll throw Kem Birch in there too. Yeah, that's about it, really. They're just going to consistently keep switching. And I think Precious is one of those guys in that rotation. He's very active. He's been improving ever since the All-Star break with that 3-point shot, spread out the floor a little bit more. We'll see what he can do. So, yeah, I think he's another important guy in this series. Is that it? Is that it for the Raps? We moving on to the last one here?
Yeah, buddy.
There it is. So, Aulino, your Bulls, DeMar, fucking beauty, taking on Giannis in the first round. Oh damn, the Bulls kind of had a fall of grace too this year. They were first for a good chunk of it, and they end up falling to the 6th seed. So they're taking on the back-to-back MVP, Aulino. Is there any chance that the Chicago Bulls can pull this off?
I'm going to be confident in DeMar to not have those performances he's had in the past. With the Raptors early on in the series, I think he'll be a little bit more consistent. They got Vucevic there, who is a good, solid center that they can rely on. Levine is going to have to choose his shots wisely here. Like his shot selection, I think, is going to be key for them. If Lonzo comes back, I think that changes everything. Gives him a playmaker. You can find guys like Levine where makes things easier for him, makes things easier for Vucevic. It lets DeMar go into mid-range. So if they don't have Lonzo, I got Milwaukee winning this in 6. But if Lonzo comes back, I see Chicago really making a run and maybe surprising Milwaukee in 7.
Chris, what do you got?
Oh, Chris is muted.
Oh shit!
There it is.
The Bulls. I was just saying, I love the optimism, Aulino. I think they had a great run. They were in first for a long time in this season. DeMar DeRozan at one point was arguably the MVP. I can't believe I'm saying that, but it's true. He had a career year in almost every statistical category. Just a great leader. Bleacher Report. Where are you guys saying that DeRozan was a terrible ad? You guys definitely went into your tunnels and hid. So, but going back to the series, I mean, Drew Holiday here is the guy that's going to give the Bulls a really hard time. He can guard DeRozan and Levine. He's that good defensively. And yeah, Aulino, in terms of shot selection, I don't know if Levine's going to have a lot of say in this series because his shot selection is not good, and Drew Holiday is arguably the best perimeter defender in the league. So expect Levine to have a couple rough games here in this series. I don't see him really being that effective. I think they're going to rely a lot in the paint with Vucevic maybe going up against a Brook Lopez, going up against a Bobby Portis. I think Vuce can get you maybe 20 points a game, but they don't have an answer for Giannis, man. I think Giannis is he's gonna average about 28, 14, and 6. He's just gonna eat here, and I got the Bucks in 5. I'll give DeRozan 1 game, but man, that's about it. I think the Bucks are gonna run him over here.
Game 1, DeMar drops 50. You heard it here first. But probably
how many attempts?
Oh fuck, like 28 or some shit.
Love
probably
it.
More. But yeah, you throw Middleton in there, and like you said, Drew Holiday. Oh god, I probably have the Bucks coming out of the East if everything goes right. But this is a sweet 6-game series for me as well. Yeah, Bucks in 6. So moving over to the West, which I got to do right quick. All right, we go to the 1-8 series. Who are we assuming this is? This is Phoenix.
New Orleans, yeah. I'm going to go New Orleans there.
All righty. So, Aulino, I'll kick it off with you. What are we thinking?
Yeah, assuming it's New Orleans, I got and let's just say, okay, if Zion doesn't play and it's New Orleans, I say Phoenix wins in 6 games. And if Zion's back, I say New Orleans wins in 6. I don't think it'll go 7. There's my upset of the Western Conference.
The 64-win team.
Boom.
Yeah,
and if the Clippers make it, then they're out. I think in 5.
Yeah, I was just saying, if the Clippers make it in somehow, they're going to either get swept or lose in 5. But with the Pelicans, I think it's a little more of an intriguing matchup. I was saying before, McCollum versus Booker is solid. I think that could be an unreal clash of the Titans right there. Chris Paul, though, he's just a born winner. And it's funny to say that because he's never won a chip. But if you look at the teams he's gone to, their win percentage has gone up like 25% with him on the floor. So Chris Paul he's a natural born leader. He's the point guard. He's just out there. He's one of the better facilitators of all time. I got the Suns, man. I think Mikal Bridges, Cam Johnson, have taken a step forward this year offensively, which, again, that was never really their role. DeAndre Ayton has maybe taken a step back, but he's still that dominant center that can just dominate the paint at any given time. And Devin Booker, man, he's that good. He'll drop 27 almost every night. So they got in nice there in Phoenix. That's why they came in first place. That's why they went to the finals last year. I got Phoenix. If Zion does play, I'll say 7 games. Kind of like what I said with Atlanta with Miami. They'll make the Suns and they'll make the Heat sweat. But at the end of the day, got the first seed. Got the first seed coming out on top here. I'll say 6 games for Phoenix.
NBA's actually fucked. They're waiting on the Simmons to come back, and then they're waiting on Buddy to come back. Zion in the West, both in the play-in. Like, it's funny how it works out. But yeah, as much as I love McCollum and Ingram, I think Book and CP got them beat, especially the way they've been rolling last little while. Bridges is probably up for Defensive Player of the Year as well. Jay Crowder in there, man, it's going to be tough. So, again, it's probably a good matchup, but probably got the Suns easily in the first round, maybe 5-6 games. So, second 7 seed now, the Western Conference, we got the Grizzlies against the Timberwolves, which is confirmed. So, Aulino, I'm going to kick it to you. What do we think for that series?
Yeah, I love the way John Morant's playing. I don't think Beverly's going to have a shot at having success against him like he did in the other series, so I'm going to go Memphis in 5.
Yeah,
Oh, man.
Memphis in 5. I hate to say it. D'Lo, Towns, Edwards, they got a lot of potential. They'll be back there in no time. But as of right now, when you look at the team, the chemistry with Dylan Brooks, Kyle Anderson, Desmond Bane taking a monstrous step forward as well. He's also an MIP candidate. John Morant, he's just incredible. He's must see. He's like a mix of Allen Iverson and D Wade, like combined.
Oh, I like it.
It's unreal to see. And Jaren Jackson, he hasn't played that much. He does get in foul trouble, but if Karl Anthony Towns is going to play the way like he did last night, where not as disciplined, taking a lot of those fouls, I think Jaren Jackson and Steven Adams could expose him, and as well both those centers. And Jaren Jackson's a power forward, but both those two guys guarding Towns, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough for Cat for sure, but it was a great story this year for the Timberwolves. But yeah, I'm there with Aulino. I got the Grizzlies in 5.
They finally make it back, and these guys don't even give them a chance. Unbelievable. Is there any way in hell that the offensive firepower of Towns, D'Lo, and Edwards can push them to a 7-game series? Or is this just a 5-game wash? A learning experience, pretty much.
Oh, man. Yeah, if they don't get fouled out.
If D'Lo could put up a 40-piece in one of those games, that's a win for sure. And if Towns is going to have to drop like 28, he's going to have to be disciplined and just outmatch. I mean, you look at it on paper, Towns versus Adams, that sounds like a match made in heaven, but we all know how Adams is. He's a hard-nosed defensive center, and he won't give you anything in the paint. So, nah, man, I think it's a wash, honestly. I mean, I love Edwards. I think he just doesn't have that experience. And as much, it's funny because Memphis doesn't really have the experience either. But just as a team, like without John Morant, they're 21-2 this year. Like their team chemistry is arguably better than Phoenix's. So Memphis is winning this one, man.
I think it's going 7.
Oh, man.
I think it's so much closer than people think. I got Memphis, but I think it's close. I got Memphis over them because of the team chemistry and the way they've been playing all year. And like you said, with Ja out of the lineup, they're just one of those teams. They're all in. They're all in, like the way Phoenix has been playing too. So, but I just look at the matchups over there with the Timberwolves, and I feel like it could cause a lot of problems. And with the defensive guys they have too, and the way they've been playing, I don't know. Like, I don't think it's as like a layup as a lot of guys think. But I do have the Grizzlies, so that is a clean sweep on our podcast there. So we'll go to the next series. This is an interesting one. Golden State against Denver. All right, a lot of fucking injuries going around on both sides. Chris, what do we like in this series?
I said at the beginning of the year that Golden State could potentially go to the final if all healthy. Steph Curry is not healthy. Nikola Jokic is the MVP. He's playing the best basketball I've ever seen. Ah, man, this is tough. I mean, if Jamal Murray does come back, I could even see Denver winning this in 7 games. But for now, I'll stick with Golden State. I'll say 7 games. And the only reason why is because of the experience, and they've been there before. Draymond Green, I know he's not going to put up the sexy stats, but what he does defensively is just brilliance. Andrew Wiggins has improved defensively year after year. And let's make no mistake, boys. Jordan Poole, he can shoot the ball. So if Jordan Poole can put up about 20 points every single game in the series, you bring Steph Curry back, whether that's 90%, 70%, I still think Golden State can get this one. But like I said about the other series, the 2 first seeds, it's going to be a sweat. It's going to go down, I think, to the wire here, just because of the way Jokic has been playing.
Yeah, everything what Chris said. I think Jokic's performance is going to dictate how long this is going to be, but I still have Golden State just edging them out at the end there.
I'm assuming everyone's playing except Jamal Murray, who's been out all year. I think I'm pretty much with you guys. Just you get any version of Steph, I don't give a shit. You get Clay in there. Dre's been rolling all year. I think Jordan Poole's probably in the conversation for most improved. Throwing a little bit of Gary Payton for some defense. Wiggins, like they got a lot of weapons too, even though they've had a lot of injuries as well. So, man, that's a shame. We were saying it before too. Embiid and Jokic could both go out in the first round, but we'll see. I got Golden State in 7 games, so that is that series. And for the 4-5 in the Western Conference, we got the Utah Jazz and the Dallas Mavericks. Chris, kick that one off, buddy.
It's a fun series, man. Like, you got Doncic, you got Mitchell. It's going to be fun. Luka Doncic, though, he did get hurt. I think it was a week ago. I don't know. I'm still monitoring that day by day. I'm looking on Twitter, and right now it looks like he might be out the first 2 games of the series, which is huge for Dallas. Because of that, I think if they lose the first 2 games, they're not going to come back, regardless of Luka averaging 38, 8, and 9 in all of his playoff games in his career so far. I just think Utah, they're hungry. And I think this is, I'm not going to lie to you boys, I think this is Donovan Mitchell's last run with Utah. I think this is where the trade rumors start to amp up after the playoffs are done. And I think he might become either a New York Knick or maybe, I don't know, maybe another team. But I don't see him staying in Utah just based off of all the negative press that he's gotten over the last couple of years and that whole chemistry situation with Rudy Gobert not passing him the ball. But I'm getting off topic here. I do think this is a great matchup. I think Rudy Gobert, though, is going to expose guys like Dwight Powell in the paint, and they don't really have an answer for Rudy, do they? I'm really looking at their depth chart here, and Maxi Kleba and Dwight Powell, I don't think, and even the guys like Reggie Bullock and Finney Smith, I just don't think they're enough for Rudy Gobert. So if Mitchell wants to pass the ball to Rudy, I think it's a good idea in the series. I got if Doncic is playing 100%, I this is going 7, but if not, I got Utah in 6.
Yeah, I agree. Doncic is a great player, but when it's playoff time, like he doesn't have that supporting cast around him that is going to help him get over the hump here. So I got Utah moving on, and if he's out the first 2 games, it's going to be a tough hill to climb after that, especially going on the road for game 4 and 5.
I'll give the Jazz the benefit of the doubt. I usually have them out in the first round because they get the matchup. It's the fucking top Western teams. But yeah, I'm with Chris with the Rudy Gobert situation. I think he's gonna fucking just kill whoever the hell is matched up against him. But for the Mavs though, Chris, do you think the way Brunson's been playing and getting Dinwiddie, could that make a difference to put him over?
Yeah, I could. I mean, Dinwiddie's been solid. Brunson went from averaging 12 to about 18. So, yeah, he's improved his offensive game. And it's just, I don't know, man, because Donovan Mitchell, there's times he could really lock you down. And he's a very underrated defender. A lot of people just talk about how great offensively he is. And, you have Mike Conley, who's a veteran. He's a grizzled guy there. And Jordan Clarkson does not really play D, but they have a guy named Royce O'Neal who very underrated. To me, he's a Jay Crowder in Utah. He's a guy that doesn't get appreciated enough. And he can still put up about 10 points a game quietly. So I do like that take, though, with Brunson and Dinwiddie. They do bring that two-way game, especially at the guard spot. If they don't have Doncic, that could benefit, or they can get blown out. So, but to me, I think, dude, the biggest hole here in this series is the center spot. I think Rudy's going to eat, and I think it's going to expose their weakness, and maybe come free agency, maybe they can go out and maybe get a Wendell Carter.
Wendell Carter, I love it. Oh, man. Well, that's the entire first round we just covered. That shit took an hour. Took a lot of time on the play-in, too. So I think that's pretty much it for the NBA, unless we got anything else.
Nah, man, I think we're good for today, no?
There we go. Where we head into the rink.
Oh, yeah, that one little topic there on the rink with Auston Matthews. Boom.
That fucking guy. We're gonna kick it off with him because I'm looking at the stat right now, and he's got 58 goals in the last 68 games. So is he gonna hit 70?
You know what? It sounds way too much, but you never know with this guy. I know we play Detroit next week. I joked about it before the pod went up. We had 10 freaking goals and he got 1. If we can get like 5 goals against Detroit that game and he gets 2-3, that's already 61. I mean, like, it's not out of the question. 58 in the last 68 is ridiculous. That's godly. That's Hart Trophy. At this point, it's his award to lose. Yeah, dude, to me, I know this might sound like a hot take with a guy like McDavid in the league, but he's the best player in the league right now.
So you got him as your Hart winner then?
Easily, yeah.
I feel like we'll do what we just did with hockey, what we just did with basketball. We'll take an hour and cover the whole first round. But yeah, in terms of the NHL, it really is his title to lose. Like, when I just look at the goal scoring and the titles he's breaking, he's gonna crack 100 points too. The last Leaf to do that was who? Gilmore, before we were born.
Yeah, long time ago.
Yep, man.
It's just wild too, because like I never thought he would ever take that step as this defensive juggernaut either. Like, the amount of takeaways, I know in his first year, I think he was second in the league in takeaways, which is a redonkulous stat as a rookie. But like, you see what he's doing on both ends of the ice. He's back checking at a different level now. He's getting a little more physical. He's just doing all the right IQ plays in our own zone too. He's winning a lot more draws. I'm pretty sure on the top 6 forwards, we lead the league in faceoff wins with Matthews and Tavares, as we kind of should. They're getting paid a combined 22.6 a year. But regardless of the fact, like, he's just improved tremendously defensively. And I think that's just the whole narrative here. You can talk about his goals all you want. But when you talk about the Hart Trophy, you need the best player winning it. And yeah, goal scoring is nice, but just adding that defensive element that I never thought he would reach, I think that's where he gets the award for me.
Yeah, I'm with you guys on that. I think if this is a year that they don't give it to McDavid or Draisaitl, I think it would make sense. Like, just that stat there of his goal scoring percentage is insane. He's got 58 and 67. He can realistically, probably most likely, will hit 60 in this year. And it's crazy to think about because, like, McDavid and Draisaitl and Edmonton haven't had success either in the playoffs like Matthews, but I think a lot of people now are starting to look at that conversation. Maybe Zach Hyman wasn't so good for the Leafs. Maybe they let him go to Edmonton. They want to give him that money because Matthews was better off without him. And the season he's having right now, maybe Zachy wasn't such a good pro, eh?
Well, it's just the way the cookie crumbles, eh?
I'm calling it now. He's getting 60 goals tonight.
Oh, man. Oh, another 2-spotter. It's very possible. Who are they playing?
Washington.
Oh, man. Oh, well, yep, that graphic makes sense then. 60. But we'll do this then. Other than McDavid and Draisaitl, if you had to choose one other guy that should be up for the Hart, who should get consideration, Chris, I'll start with you. Give me another player other than Matthews, McDavid, Draisaitl.
Hoobie Doobie Doo.
Fuck yeah.
Huberdeau should definitely be in the running there. I would have said Shesterkin, but the last month he's just kind of been pretty brutal. But that happens with goalies for sure. But Huberdeau, man, he easily cracked 100 points this year. Barkov was out for about, I want to say, 16 games. And with him out those 16 games, he was still striving. And, I think that narrative is over where Huberdeau relies on Barkov. Maybe it's the other way around. Maybe they're just two fantastic fucking players. So Huberdeau has shown now that he's arguably, this is a hot take for sure, but I think he's easily the best left wing in hockey at this very moment. He's just everything that he does as a playmaker. His IQ to me is top 3 in the league. You see it every night. Yeah, he does have the forward help to back it up. He does have Barkov. He does have Bennett, Reinhardt, and Duclair there. But at the end of the day, man, like this guy he's doing it mostly. But he's done it mostly by himself. This evolved play has come since 2016-17. His points have gone up every single year. And even the leadership, dude, like he's the first Florida Panther, I think, ever to hit 100 points. And I know Pavel Bure probably got close. But other than that, man, they've had a dark cloud there in Florida for a long time. And I know they don't get the media and all that. But I think Huberdeau, as good of a season as he's had, even in Florida, I think he has to get the love here.
Yeah, this is a tough one. I think Huberdeau for sure, but if you're going around the league, maybe a team like Gaudreau, maybe, but like he hasn't had that same publicity like the other guys have had. Yeah, it's like slim pickings after that. Because Matthews, how do you go against that? McDavid, Draisaitl, you know what they bring. McKinnon hasn't had that same season he had last year. So it's a good one for Auston Matthews this year.
I feel there's so many guys in the league that have 100-point potential. I just feel like it feels like a crime to leave some of these guys off the list. Just wanted to mention some of them. Like I throw Kaprizov in there too. I look at the way the Wild, the direction they're going in. He could hit 100 points right after signing that long ass fucking deal. He's at 42 goals. Even Marner's in the top 10. He's not going to get consideration, but like, it's crazy. And when you think about what Draisaitl's doing too, he's going to be overlooked every single year. And he scored 50 fucking goals and 100 points again. It's fucking crazy. I feel like we're heading back to like the mid 80s where the top 20 is all going to be 100-point scores. So, yeah.
Yeah, dude, the goaltending has taken a big step back. And now
definitely.
I don't know if that's because of the guys are just so skilled or just the flock of talent has just kind of dwindled a bit. But I mentioned it before when we did our top 10 goalies. I want to say like 5 of the top 10 are elite, and then everywhere else it's kind of like, yeah, you could pick where you have them, but that's about it. No, dude, like I'm not even gonna lie. Like I can't even name you 10 elite goalies in the league this year. I really can't.
This year? Nah, definitely not.
Mrazek.
Oh, fucking god.
Oh my god, like dude, like even Hellebuck this year has kind of taken a step back individually with the stats. Like Saros to me is elite. I think he's one of those goalies that he can give you a 925 at his best, and he's rolling. I also think another guy, like it's crazy to say, Jakob Markstrom. He's an elite goalie now. He's putting up 8 shutouts in a year, and you could say what you want about their defense, but Markstrom brings it almost every single night. Demko could be there eventually. I think when Vancouver kind of figures it out, if they ever do. But yeah, dude, I like my take there. I don't think there's more than 5 elite goalies this year in the league.
Yeah, I fucking stole Saros, but yeah, you like that the game's kind of heading in that direction recently? Do you where there's like a lot more scoring and the goaltending might be down, or do you like it like in the 2014-15 season when Jamie won the Hart with 87 points?
No, not that year. No, I like it more like this, a little more exciting. But I do want to see the goalies maybe put up a little bit more of a fight individually. I know like there are excuses of, oh, well, he plays on this team and they get peppered every night. But look at what Ville Husso did this year. No one really talks about that. He's putting up about a 918 save on St. Louis. Binnington's been god awful, and he comes in and he takes the spotlight there. And I don't want to say like you're not going to get these guys all getting 100 points, and then you're going to have like 20 unreal goalies. That's just not possible.
Oh yeah, like Huso is one that jumps to mind. He's had a nice little year.
There you go. You got a little highlights in there.
I do like what you said though about Kaprizov, because we were making fun of him getting all that money, and then all of a sudden, dude, like he's gonna put up 100. Are you kidding me? Like, gee, this guy's unreal.
Yeah, like there's a lot going on. Even Aulino brought up McKinnon. I don't know where the fuck his name is here because he's only played like 50-something games. But yeah, Nas too. Like holy shit, Kyle Connor might score 50 goals if he's lucky. There is no one mentioned Patrick Kane's having a down year. Like if you look at what he does historically, but goddamn, yeah, I just love the way the game's going recently.
January 1st have been unreal.
Who's that?
Kane and Crosby since January 1st have been absolutely unreal.
When's he slowing down?
Never.
He's not. Him and Ovi, they're going to put up 93 points in their final year in 2031.
Oh, imagine they're there another 9 years. Holy shit.
Oof. But I think that might be it for the rink, unless we got anything.
We're good.
Ah, man, it was good. Good pod today. Long one.
That was a long one. That was episode 173. Tune in next week, cover some more hoop and some more hockey, get into the ring a bit, and yeah, take care, guys.